Alright guys, what's up? I don't usually do these voiceover videos. I'm kind of like past that phase of like content creation and all that. But a couple people have been asking about sigils for most of the builds in Granblue I run. Most of my characters are pretty much built the same way. Just because of the way damage caps and incremental returns work, or diminishing returns on the damage increases and the unique damage sources. So let's run with Eugen here, and let's see if we can use some character with like a nice single hit skill that we can use to test our damage. Yeah, we could use the bomb here. Let's see. So that's 489592. Yeah, that's a decent one with like relatively high damage scaling, so we can sort of see our numbers. So we'll just take it from the top. And since he's one of these rare range characters, we can use concentrated fire, but I'll try not to. So first things first, the mastery, and this is all assuming that you're gonna have a capped Bahamut weapon. But first things first, the over mastery, 20% crit rate, combined with your base and combined with a critical hit rate imbuement will get you to 84%. It's 83 for me here because my critical hit rate on the imbue is only 9. But what that means is that if you add in a critical hit rate sigil here, is you get +1 from the sigil for the sigil booster on your Bahamut weapon that gets you to 100%. So that's usually pretty standard. I'll also be operating on the assumption that your character has at least one good unique character sigil to use. Vasaraga uses none of them, for example. Most characters tend to have one utility one and one good one. So I'm just going to operate under the assumption that we're going to be having at least one useful one. And I think for Eugen, one of them is grenade damage cap. The other one is damage to fire's next shot, which is pretty much a more multiplier in damage, so we'll keep that. And this one is paired with critical hit rate, so that's already going to be capped. We'll remove his crit rate on his sigil. So most of the orange numbers, the orange traits, which are just damage traits, they build the same way. I'm going to be using 1 Tyranny to increase my base damage. 1 Stamina because it's a fresh multiplier, and you notice that on, let's say, something like Stamina, right? The trait is stronger in the first initial levels. For example, you see on level 1 it's 8, and then it's +3, +3, +3, and then when you get down to these lower levels here, like let's say 16 to 17, it's only +1 at max. So stacking separate damage mods are usually not only better, but also they have a multiplicative effect. For example, Tyranny's base attack, and then Stamina is damage percentage increase. So, and we'll also have attack on our sublines too, optimally, because the attack on the sublines, it's really bad early levels, but when you start getting into later levels, it gives you 100 each level, and that really adds up, especially when you're doing, and even on the final levels, I think it's 200. Yep, the final level is 200 attack from 49 to 50. And that is a lot, especially when you see scaling with, like, let's say Glass Cannon or Tyranny. So here we'll add again, it's all separate multipliers, right? So we have a Stamina, which is at 16, that's 51. A Tyranny is 36 attack. We'll have a life on the line. And we'll just add all attacks for now. And then now you want to work on your damage caps. We'll just leave an empty space here for now. So for your damage caps, you run 4 of them unless you have any like Uber specific setups. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That should cap you with your Bahamut weapon, because the Bahamut weapon gives you +1 to each of these damage caps and also 5 damage cap on the weapon itself. Let us toss in. Could have sworn I had another. We'll just run anything. Steel nerves is fine here too. So that gets you to your 65 damage cap. And then we have one War Elemental, which is pretty standard because it's a final damage modifier. And I think at this point our damage should be pretty beefy. I think the original number was like 490k or something on the grenade. Yeah, and we're pretty much there. It was 489592, which is pretty much the same number that we're at. So we at least know that with this bare minimum here, on 3 unique damage mods, capped crit, and 4 damage caps with attack sublines, we know that our damage is capped on one of our higher cap skills. And some characters you could test auto attacks, but there's different damage caps on every single skill. Like for example, you run with Charlotta, it's really easy to cap her autos, but when it starts capping the other skills like her Holy Ladder or her Onslaught, it becomes a little rougher. And then here we just fill it with supplementals, and then we can have 1 spare slot for utility. And if you notice, I pretty much picked all attack mods on the bottom here, just because like that's like the default. You only need 3 of them to cap at 50. So you can start slotting in utility here, but for now let's just keep working on the weapons. Let's see. So for Eugen, he has a pretty... He can run concentrated fire if he needs to. Quick charge is nice for Percival and Vasaraga. We'll have our supplementals instead. And I happen to roll both these with Nimble Onslaught, which is nice. So 2 supplementals is usually enough, because that gets it to 74%. Now from here, if you're running a character that has their own attack buffs, like let's say you have Percival with his stamina attack, Charlotte, you can run Valiant Stance. Eugen feels like it's pretty easy to cap on too, because caps are a little low. You can run an extra supplementary damage here. But I generally prefer to have a bit more utility. But we can just do that. And let's say we add one more final supplemental. Or we could have a cooldown too, which is fine. Link Together is also another nice one. I just don't have like too many good Link Togethers. Or you could also run Glass Cannon here to cap out your damage cap. Let's see, where is Glass Cannon? Let's see how high the damage goes on Glass Cannon. So before it was 489,852 roughly. This goes like maybe like 5.510 maybe. Yeah, 516. But it's a little hard to play with Glass Cannon. It's not too bad on Eugen, but you can. So I prefer... I'll just leave this as a flex slot here. And then we can start working on utilities here, since all these attacks were just placeholders. Again, you only need 3 attacks. So... let's just say we have the 3 attacks on our damage caps here. The rest of this can be utility. So we can generally have cooldowns like Cascade and cooldown reduction. Quick cooldown. So this is a stamina. We'll have like stamina plus quick cooldown. And then Tyranny here can be another quick cooldown to cap it. Life on the Line can go with Cascade. And then Cascade caps at 20. Which makes it a good choice for... It makes it a good choice for your weapon, which is why I have 6 here. Because the imbue is on the weapon itself. So that leaves us with 2 quick cooldowns to cap. I misspoke. It's not cap, but close enough. We can run 1 more quick cooldown, but the numbers start getting really rough at the end, so you just want to fill out your utility. So it's 2 quick cooldown, 1 cascade. We have 3 attacks on our damage caps. So the last damage cap can be Guts, Potion Hoarder, Auto Revive, whatever you prefer. I think I'll go with Guts and Potion Hoarder. And this last final one here, I think I had a supplementary 4 with Guts. So that should round out everything. And running 554 on your supplementary damage is pretty. It gets you there. That is 43, which is pretty much all you need. I'm doubling up on Tyranny somewhere here because this was supposed to be life on the line. It was life on the line plus Cascade. If it's bots, you can run Nimble Onslaught too. They're pretty nice with it. So I don't have a Cascade 15 here. I'll borrow Cheetah's. And yeah, that pretty much does it for the Steady Focus here is really nice too for his laser beam. You can also run things like Steady Focus. You can have a Stout Heart here instead of the supplemental. Stout Heart, Steel Nerves is good with Stout Heart. Steady Focus is too. But that pretty much hits everything. You have your pretty much the first 15 levels of every single damage trait, so that there is less diminishing returns on it. So 15 stamina, it's not 15, but 15 stamina, 15 tyranny, 15 life in the line. Supplemental damage is almost capped. War Elemental is necessary. Crit rate is just enough to cap you with your 20 mastery and 10 imbue. Damage cap is capped with 4 damage sigils plus your Bahamut weapon. Steady Focus you only need 1 of if you have a charge character. And the rest is into cooldown and Cascade. And your utility can be Potion Hoarder, Guts. Auto Revive I don't really care for too much, but it's super useful if you need it. And that pretty much is the way you build your character. There's some characters like Vasaraga who don't use a sigil here. So you'll probably end up with, like, let's say, crit and have another damage line on the bottom or utility. But as long as you hit your attack plus caps, your cooldown, and I'd probably say like 3 or 4 of your base damage, I'd call it, which is stamina, tyranny, life on the line, crit damage, you're good to go. Yeah, hopefully that covers everything. I'm sure some characters have their own twists on things, like Rakam shotgun build, the air shotgun thing doesn't run as many damage caps. He runs a ton of base damage because the caps on that are naturally high. There's Fairy who prefers uplift. I think Vey needs capped Cascade always. Vasaraga runs less skills with less is more. But in general, this is pretty much what I'd like to start with, and I'd start changing my character as I need it. Yeah, hopefully that helps. You guys have a good one. I've enjoyed the activity on my channel from Granblue Relink stuff, and yeah, hope you guys, happy Valentine's, right? Take care.